You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Hello there. Welcome to Fate Mag Radio here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. I am so glad to welcome you. This is going to be a huge show tonight because I have two incredible guests, and our listeners know that's quite rare. I'm pretty excited. I am going to be welcoming Jean Broida, Jean-Claire Broida, who is a fabulous author, ufologist. I love that she writes for the Daily Conspiracy because I learn a lot from her and her research. And we have Lee Harris, who is also an author. He is a transformational person. He is so great at guiding people. He channels and he brings great information. And you're going to absolutely love him. He has a new book out, Energy Works, and it's going to be a great show. But before we get started, I would be remiss if I did not say something about the death of someone who was very special in the paranormal field. I am so going to miss learning and listening and speaking with Al Willen, and I'm certainly going to miss Kira Tuesdays because the love that he still has, because I believe we carry that forward, for his family was evident. He was a special man. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Without faith, we are as stained glass windows in the dark." And I think that Al was never without a light shining through, and he's going to continue that. So Al, may you rest in peace, and may your soul soar. Thank you for everything you did for so many people. And with that being said, we are going to move on past this right now. And I am going to let y'all get to know Jean Broida. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Kat. Hi, everybody.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
So, we have had quite a journey over the past year. You have accomplished so much. I'm
and
really
so
proud
have you.
For you. Yes. And
I'm sorry, I just talked right over, but I can't contain my enthusiasm. Both of us have done so much in a year. Please go on.
Well, no, because you're right. And we both overcame a little bit of difficulty and came out the other side. And here we stand.
Here we stand. A year now since we met first at the 2018 Ozark Mountain UFO Conference, and we're poised to go to the 2019 Ozark Mountain UFO Conference in beautiful, literally gorgeous, as in there are gorges there, river gorges, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Springs for hot springs and cold springs, therapeutic, healing, soothing springs. I'm there already in my mind.
I know, right? and we had such a good time exploring the city.
Oh, we did. It's a fascinating place, rich in history.
Yes.
It is.
And we found that paranormal shop that was halfway up the stairs.
You did.
You found it.
You, the ghost hunter. Did I really? I can't imagine I would do that.
You showed it to me.
Oh,
and
say so.
Well, you looked down the stairwell.
There was some
and
wine
I wasn't there
involved,
yet.
as I recall.
There was a bit of wine involved, but good times.
But we weren't actively researching. We were
no, we were
researching. We were researching. You found this haunted basement or haunted place, or they gave tours.
Well, it was.
I wouldn't go in wherever it was. I wouldn't even go in there. Remember that? I hung out in the gifty shoppy looking at rocks. Rocks, yum.
And they were so kind to actually let me go in.
Because
it was the rock face side of the building. The building was built into the side of this mountain. Hill. Well, probably they would call it a hill. But it was really a neat thing. And the energy in there was amazing. And then we found the most wonderful place for dinner. Remember that grotto?
Oh, yes. Speaking of places built into the rocks, they've done the same thing there. Seems to be a theme in Eureka Springs.
There's a lot
exploiting that grotto theme they got going there. Bubbling waters. What's not to like, frankly? I was just watching Patty Greer film, where she's disclosing about crop circle truths, her topic, and I'm working up some presentations this spring and summer on crop circles, and I wanted to understand better and review what she was talking about with these energies and consciousness, and it's just fascinating. It's turning my whole head around. Well, have you looked into that? I know you have a little. I think you have.
I actually have. I have a friend who, I'm sad to say, suffered a very unusual stroke with unusual results. And so she is not publicly speaking and sharing her research any longer. But she is Nancy Talbot, and I learned so much from her on that topic. It was just fantastic because she would just send me links and discuss things, and you can't beat that. That's such a fascinating thing because they're not all hoaxes. They're not all created by people.
Oh, that's the total truth. And when I give my presentations coming up, I'm going to make it very clear at the outset what we won't be talking about. We won't be talking about meteorological explanations, that is high winds, swirling winds, or flooding that might be circular or swirling. There's plenty of pictures of that sort of crop damage.
Absolutely.
It's well known. We're not talking about people with boards and ropes or other mechanical means smashing down crops. Not talking about that. Talking about all the others. Someone on social media recently quoted to me a made-up statistic. It sounded made up to me. 99.999% of all crop circles are explainable by meteorological and human hoaxers. And
I think
someone
that
else
number may be reversed.
Well, I don't know what the actual number is, but that sounded improbable, shall we say. As a skeptic, as a mathematician, and a scientist, that number sounded completely fabricated.
Absolutely.
and pulled out of the air to make an argument, just to argue. But someone else, some other smarmy person, because I surround myself with smarmy people who exchange ideas freely. I'm all for it.
And that's
I'm all for
fun.
debate. Reasonable debate. No name calling, please, and let's try to cite our sources. Why do you think that? But this other person retorted, okay, well, what about that other fractional percent? Which was also the conclusion, that fractional percent of unexplained crop circles, the ones that aren't beaten down, the ones that have exploded nodes and microwave effects or other electrostatic effects, magnetic effects, all kinds of effects, and that notion is also carrying through with the Project Blue book, where you've got an astronomer, an impartial, civilian, basically, employed by the military the military wants him to debunk. And in fact, and of course, this is all based on a real thing. I think a lot of people watching the show don't realize that this really happened. There was a Project Blue book. And I haven't been following the show beyond the first episode. But what I know about the real Project Blue Book is that they investigated over 400 cases, and they explained away some 400 cases. But there were maybe 40, and again, don't quote me on the exact numbers. There was a fraction of the explainable, awayable ones, and they were reaching for straws with some of them, I suspect. Swamp gas, Venus, weather balloons. Some of them probably really were, but some of those probably really weren't. But be that as it may, 40 or some number were unexplainable.
768 out of 2,300.
There we go. Real numbers. And so Dr. Hynek said, there is a phenomenon. U.S. government said there is not a phenomenon. So same with crop circles. We have researchers doing credible research being debunked by their peers or discredited by their peers, denied PhDs in one case I know of, by peer review, lack of support, because the findings are so shocking. The findings about crop circles are so shocking. And this is what I've just been looking at to prepare for some knowledge sharing. And it's looking like there's 3 big takeaways, just to, in case people don't catch any of my presentations. But these are all mind-blowing. First, we have the likes of Foster Gamble of the Thrive movement. And if you've not seen the Thrive movie about the Thrive movement, I recommend you hustle right over to YouTube and go watch it for free. This is great stuff. Alternative stuff, science-based, thank goodness. And he's talking about how crop circles may well represent two-dimensionally, in other words, flat. They're flat, or they appear to be flat, seen from above. Two-dimensional representations of something that is a three-dimensional construct or idea. And he uses animation, beautiful animation, to show toroidal shapes. That's a donut in lay terms. Donut shapes, and another shape, it's techie sounding, it's mathematical. I forget what it is, I have it written down. But basically he's saying these two shapes are the fundamental shapes of energy waves, energy formations in the universes. And if we understand these energies, then we can harness them effectively and solve our energy problems on Earth. He thinks extraterrestrials, or whoever these entities are, making crop circles that aren't humans, are communicating energy-related messages to scientists and engineers.
Well, they're trying to help us to be able, I feel, they're trying to help us to be able to get off this planet, as well as be able to utilize different energy sources to interact on our planet. I find it fascinating. But
the second purpose of these crop circles, according to Patty Greer and Leavenworth, that's the source Nancy Talbot is also citing. Apparently Talbot worked with Levengood and another scientist named Burke. I know nothing about Burke. First time I heard the name today, or focused on the name. But the three, Leavengood, Burke, and Talbot, formed this consortium that Nancy Talbot continues to publish behind or in front of
research.
BLT Research. Okay, so she's fully accredited. And Patty Greer has also spent time with Penny Kelly, Levengood's lab assistant. So both of these sources appear highly credentialed about Levengood. And what did he find? He found lots of stuff about crop circles. It was one of his main focuses for decades. He found the seeds inside a crop circle are super energized. They yield much more nutrition, and the yields of crop, the density of the crop is much higher. So this could be a solution for world famine. And then Greer also talks about consciousness as a component in crop circles, which circles around to the guy we talked to last time we talked, Kat, Robert Vanderbroek.
Close enough.
Vanderbroek. That guy in Netherlands, Dutch guy, who is getting psychic premonitions before crop circles happen over and over, and has been seeing balls of light and energy fields and having intuitive communications, which he attributes to other intelligences, be they extraplanetary, other dimensional. He says they're not